Athletics. The origins of athletics date back to the first ancient Olympic Games in 776 BC, held in Olympia on the southwestern coast of Greece. The only event at those games was the stadion, a sprinting race roughly 200 meters long, or the length of the ancient Olympic Stadium. The events we see today trace back to those early Greek competitions. Running, walking, jumping, and throwing competitions are among the oldest sports, with roots in prehistoric times. Athletics has been a staple in every Summer Olympics since the modern Olympic movement began in 1896. At the 2024 Summer Olympics, over 1,800 athletes, equally divided between men and women, competed in 48 medal events. These included 25 track events, 5 road events, marathon and race walking, 16 field events, and 2 combined events. In both the men's and women's categories, we have running events ranging from 100 meters to 10,000 sumter, including the 3,000 meter steeplechase and marathons up to 20 kilometers. Additionally, other athletic events include high jump, pole vault, long jump, triple jump, shot put, discus throw, hammer throw, javelin throw, and heptathlon. Mostly in all these sports, the rules are simple. To finish first, swimming. Swimming involves propelling the body through water using coordinated arm and leg movements, along with the natural buoyancy of the body. This activity dates back to around 2500 BCE in Egypt, and later appeared in Assyrian, Greek, and Roman civilizations. In ancient Greece and Rome, swimming was part of military training and elementary education for boys, along with learning the alphabet. Over in East Asia, swimming has a history dating back to at least the 1st century BCE, with evidence of swimming races in Japan. By the 17th century, an imperial edict made swimming compulsory in Japanese schools. When it comes to modern Olympic swimming, the events include freestyle, breaststroke, butterfly, and individual medley, (IM). Swimmers in these events start by diving into the water from a raised platform. On the starter's command, "Take your mark," each swimmer assumes a position, bent over their knees and gripping the front edge of the platform. Once everyone is still, the starter triggers an electronic tone to signal the start of the race, and the swimmers dive into the pool. After diving in, a swimmer's head must surface within the first 15 meters. For backstroke events and the start of medley relays, swimmers begin in the water, facing the pool wall. They grab a bar beneath the starting platform with both hands and place their feet on a backstroke ledge positioned below the surface. At the start signal, swimmers push off the wall, diving backwards to begin the race. A key rule in swimming is that there are no false start warnings. If a swimmer dives into the pool before the start signal, they are automatically disqualified. Gymnastics. Gymnastics includes a variety of physical exercises that demand balance, strength, flexibility, agility, coordination, artistry, and endurance. This sport has its origins in the exercises practiced by the ancient Greeks, which included skills for mounting and dismounting a horse. Over time, it also included skills from circus performances, evolving into the sport we know today. At the 2024 Olympics, the gymnastics events are numerous and thrilling. Men's events include the all-around competition, where athletes compete in multiple disciplines to showcase their versatility. The men's floor exercise involves routines performed on a spring floor, combining tumbling passes and dance elements. The pommel horse event requires gymnasts to perform continuous circular movements using their arms without touching the ground. On the rings, gymnasts must demonstrate strength and control while performing a series of swings and holds. The vault involves sprinting towards a springboard, launching off the vaulting table, and performing aerial skills before landing. In the parallel bars event, gymnasts execute swings, balances, and releases between 2 horizontal bars. The horizontal bar requires gymnasts to perform high-flying release moves and complex grip changes. The women's vault involves sprinting and launching off the vaulting table to perform flips and twists in the air. On the uneven bars, gymnasts swing and release between 2 bars set at different heights, performing intricate routines. The balance beam event features a series of leaps, turns, and acrobatic skills performed on a narrow beam. Basketball. Basketball was invented in 1891 by James Naismith, a Canadian physical education instructor in Springfield, Massachusetts. Naismith, then a 31-year-old graduate student, created this indoor sport to provide athletes with a less injury-prone alternative to football during the winter months. The game quickly gained popularity, first in the United States and then around the world as the 20th century progressed. Once basketball became established in American colleges, the professional game followed. The American National Basketball Association, NBA, founded in 1946, grew into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise by the end of the century and became a significant part of American culture. Basketball was introduced to the Olympic program at the 1904 Games in St. Louis as a demonstration event. It became an official medal event at the 1936 Olympics, with women's basketball making its debut at the Montreal 1976 Games. At this Olympic, a total of 12 teams qualify for both the men's and women's basketball competitions. 7 teams gain entry through the FIBA World Cup, 4 slots are determined through the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournaments, and the final spot is reserved for the host nation. The basketball competitions at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris are scheduled from July 27 to August 11, 2024. Preliminary 5-on-5 basketball matches take place at Stade Pierre-Mauroy in Lille, while the final phase is held at the Accor Arena in Paris. Additionally, the 3x3 basketball competitions will be played at Place de la Concorde, retaining their place in the Olympic program. Football. Football, also known as soccer in the U.S., is the world's most popular ball game, both in terms of participants and spectators. Evidence shows that organized football games were played in Greece and China over 2,000 years ago, although historians aren't sure exactly how these games were played. While there are claims that some form of football was played throughout the Roman Empire, the game of harpastum, often cited as an early form of football, likely involved throwing rather than kicking a ball. Then, in the 14th and 15th centuries, football games, often played during Shrovetide or Easter, which may have originated from pagan fertility rites celebrating spring. These chaotic matches involved entire villages with men, women, adults, children, rich, poor, and even clergy participating. The goal was to move a wooden or leather ball, or an inflated animal bladder, across fields, streams, narrow gateways, and streets until it was sent through the portal of the opposing village's parish church. Well, that was some history about football. Now, regarding this Olympic, the schedule for football tournaments is from July 24th to August 10th, 2024, in France. The draw for the tournament would take place in Paris on March 20th, 2024. Also, men and women have different tournaments. For the men's teams, players must be under 23 years old, with a maximum of 3 overage players allowed. There are no age restrictions for the women's teams. Boxing. Boxing has been part of the Summer Olympic Games since St. Louis 1904 edition. Women's boxing was introduced much later in the 2012 London Games. The competitions are organized by weight classes. Currently, there are 8 weight classes for men and 5 for women. And regarding history, the earliest visual evidence of boxing comes from Egypt and Sumer, dating back to the 3rd millennium BC. Sumerian carvings from this era depict boxing scenes. The first known boxing rules date back to ancient Greece, where boxing was included as an Olympic sport in 688 BC. The boxing competitions at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris are scheduled to take place from July 27th to August 10th. There were a total of 248 quota places for eligible boxers to compete at Paris 2024, with an equal number of spots for men and women. Each boxing bout consists of 3 rounds of 3 minutes each for men and 4 rounds of 2 minutes each for women. At the end of each round, judges score the bout based on specific criteria, awarding 10 points to the round's winner. Road cycling. The first official bike race took place in France in 1868. By 1885, safety bicycles, which closely resemble modern bikes, were being manufactured in Coventry, England. After that, cycling made its debut in the first modern Olympics in 1896. At the Paris 2024 Olympics, track cycling includes 3 sprint events: individual sprint, team sprint, and keirin, and 3 endurance events: Madison, Omnium, and Team Pursuit. A total of 95 men and 95 women compete across these 6 events. For the men's and women's sprint events, each field has a maximum of 30 riders. The competition starts with all 30 riders in a qualification round, where they complete 3 laps, but only the final 200 meters are timed. The 24 riders with the fastest times advance to the elimination rounds and are seeded according to their times. In the first elimination round, the 24 riders compete in 12 head-to-head matchups based on their seeding. The winners advance directly to the second round, while the losers enter a repechage round. In the repechage, there are 4 heats of 3 riders, with the winner of each heat moving on to the second round. The second elimination round features 16 riders in 8 head-to-head matchups. Winners advance directly to the third round, while losers again enter a replay. This repechage has 4 heats of 2 riders each, and the winners move on to the third round. In the third elimination round, the 12 remaining riders compete in 6 head-to-head matchups. The winners advance to the quarterfinals, while the losers enter another repechage round. This time, there are 2 heats of 3 riders, and the winners advance to the quarterfinals. From the quarterfinals onward, there are no more repechage rounds. Each matchup is decided by a best-of-3 series. The winners of the 4 quarterfinal heats move on to the semifinals. The winners of the 2 semifinal heats advance to the gold medal final, while the losers compete for the bronze medal. Shooting. Most of you will already have seen the daring Turkish shooter. But that wasn't the only event. In fact, the 2024 Olympics feature 15 shooting events, including rifles, pistols, and shotguns, each with its own set of rules and techniques. The shooting competitions at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris were scheduled from July 27 to August 5 at the National Shooting Center in Châteauroux. The number of shooters competing across 15 events has been reduced from 360 at the previous games to 340, with an equal split between men and women. Now, most of you will always know the history of shooting, but for those who don't have any idea, it all started in the 17th century, when target shooting had become a popular pastime among European nobility. Muskets and pistols were used in various contests. The 19th century saw a surge in interest in shooting sports, driven by the development of more accurate and reliable firearms. In 1866, the National Rifle Association, NRA, was founded in the United States to promote marksmanship and firearm safety, significantly shaping the sport in the country. Over time, different shooting disciplines emerged, catering to diverse interests and skill sets. Shooting made its Olympic debut in the modern games in 1896, featuring events like pistol, rifle, and shotgun shooting. Shooting sports have since been a regular part of the Olympics. Interestingly, in the 1900 Paris Games, live pigeons were used as targets, the only time animals were killed in the Olympics.